Thank you so much, sir, for giving me an opportunity. And I know it's lunchtime and everybody must be hungry, but I'll try not to take much of time. So please stay, next slide, please. So not going into what GIZ is, but just telling who might not know what GIZ is. It's a federal-owned organization of Government of Germany and Government of India and Government of Germany have negotiations wherein the support is being, finalized. Next slide, please. So, we are, GIZ presence is in 130 countries, and we are working on different portfolio, environment, energy, climate, sustainable urban development. And I am working in a sustainable urban development cluster, wherein we are working in all the three tiers of national, state, and city level. And in this particular project, we are working at 4 pillars broadly, which is policy support, and our lead ministry is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. In implementation of regulatory and planning frameworks, capacity development is the other pillar, wherein we are, strengthening the stakeholders, officials for, capacities on the topics we have identified. Then this is the relatively, in this digital era, we are, cannot work without phone and, at the click we need everything. So how data-driven and open sources are making its way and, data-driven decision-making is finding its way. And then is the knowledge exchange, which is communities of practice and peer-to-peer exchange network. We are establishing and institutionalizing wherein a platform like this where experts are, exchanging their learnings, sharing their, lessons and failure and successes in the platform. Next slide, please. So we have present in 6 states. I will not go into the details. Next slide, please. So I will skip these few slides. In the morning session, Dr. Sanchita Gentle ma'am had told about how much population expansion is happening. And with this expansion, we have resources, we have more facilities in the urban spaces. And with that, there's a negative impact, which is climate change, the rise in the heat stress. There's more urban flooding issues, as in the previous session, sir had told that, in a very small spell of rain, we are facing the waterlogging issues and urban flooding. Next slide, please. And then the impact is a lot of waste generation. I'm not going to the figures, but yes, this highlighted point, no doubt with Swachh Bharat mission coming in, the collection efficiency has improved a lot. We have in few cities, 90% and more than 90% collection is there, but we don't have the backend system. There's a collapse in that way that still so much of open dumping is going on, and that waste is going unregistered, unaccounted, and that is a great threat to environment, to animals. And we've been going through in the previous sessions so much of microplastics, marine litter crisis is happening. Now what is this? Now we are working in Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu state has undergone a study, and it took 5 years for them to study that how much microplastics has gone into the oceans, rivers, and marine. And the figures are really, really, scary and astonishing. Next slide, please. But with this, crisis that we are facing, as I just mentioned, urban flooding is a real issue, and we are facing in Delhi. Tamil Nadu is facing heat crisis as well as the flooding situation. Now, why is this problem arising? Because of the waste generation and amount of waste generation we are, creating. It's we, the generators, who are doing. And what is the alternative? The alternative is closing the loop. I mean, the entire circular economy concept that we should need to focus upon, that is now that is basically integrating the concept and the principle of circular economy, which is right from the beginning, looking at the product development, manufacturing, product designing. And as ma'am mentioned, 9 hours. Now earlier we used to hear 3 hours or 4 hours, now it's going to 9 hours, whereas repair and refurbishing is more coming into picture. Why? Because we need to optimize resource recovery to its maximum and not get any waste into the landfills. So that is what our motto is, and that's what we at GIZ are looking at. Next slide, please. Now this is just the interventions. I would go more into the details. Next slide, please. So this is the real implementation example I would like to mention here, which was a huge success. And as in the morning ma'am mentioned that, whatever event we do, we need to look at the waste being responsibly managed, sustainably, and disposed of in a scientific manner. Now, even in our rules, 2016 rules mention that, what even if there's a 5,000 square meter area, it needs to be decentralized premises should be, the waste to be managed within the premises. And also the duties of generator has been elaborated very, very elaborately. Now, in this, this is a zero waste event. We did it in Odisha, which is our partner state, and Bhubaneswar hosted the, Hockey World Cup event, and it has been given the lead to do it in consecutive years. Now, what we did was, since we were present, we had our presence there, we had our, expertise in waste management. We proposed that because Bhubaneswar was not looking at this side at all. They were doing so much of infrastructure development, beautification of the city, but not looking how the waste should be managed. And when we proposed that, you have an international presence there, international players are coming, 16 countries are participating, how would you manage waste? This has not been thought of. So it was a very much time-bound activity we did. It was within few weeks we need to deliver, because they said, if you can do it, then yes, otherwise we are not interested. And we took this as a challenge. And we did it in 3 phases. It was the assessment phase where we assessed the site. It was a Kalinga Stadium that hosted the entire event. Now, matches were only for 4 hours in the evenings. So we assessed the site. There was no pre-quantification of waste was carried out at all. No waste. Kitna aata hai, how much is waste being managed, nothing was there. So we had a detailed discussion and deliberations with the Commissioner, Sports Authority of Kalinga Stadium, all the other authorities and stakeholders. We had a discussion with them. And we made a zero waste plan for them. We had a, if you see at the right side below, there's a plan layout, how the routing and loading will be carried out. Where would be the, waste bins would be kept, manpower deployment, everything was, we prepared a plan. And then ensuring that it is managed sustainably, we have to have the on-site processing facility. Now, we proposed both the options to them. One is mechanized and one is the manual. But then the time crunch was there. We could only partly had the organic waste composter installed for managing organic waste, and for dry waste and recyclable fractions, we had a conventional manual sorting facility established. And we are very, happy to say that it's institutionalized there. They had this organic waste converter installed. Now, assessment was such that waste, we saw it's a 15,000 seating capacity, and no organic waste was sent to the, no spectator can kick the waste inside the, match stadium. And all the food and the beverage thing was outside. So in that way, we assessed that how much waste would be generated as a thumb rule, and in the rules were mentioned. Almost 132 grams of waste per, 25 to 30 grams of wet waste and 75 to 100 grams of dry waste will be generated. So, and our, our calculations were right. Every day, 1 ton of waste was being generated. And then there was execution of these plans. We had kind of got the sponsors on board to install the organic waste converter, and simultaneously awareness building activities and wider outreach was done. Next slide, please. So if you see, this is the slide that showed the impact that approximately 1 ton of waste was generated daily, which was managed. We segregated, sorted within the premises. It was strict instructions by the Sports Authority and the Commissioner that no waste would be, sorted when the match is going on. So we devised a mechanism that how it would be transported. So after the match hours, waste collectors was transporting the waste to the site. In the morning, 7 to 2, they were sorting it, and we had the tie-ups with the recycling units and all the, processing waste processing units, and it was sent. And we had, segregation of in 5 fractions, and the organic waste was managed there only. And it was a win-win situation for corporation, because there were a parallel Mo festival, which is the big food festival in Odisha goes on. And the entire food waste was transported to this site. And we have hand-holded the people there so that they can run the converter. Even if it's gone and it's institutionalized now, they can use it for horticulture purposes. Next slide, please. So as an outcome of this event and activity, it was thought that it was said that zero waste event and many events are organized in our India. We have so many festivals, so many events are there, but we don't manage our waste. So as an outcome of this, we came up with the advisory, a guiding document at how to organize a waste event as a zero waste event that elaborates the process of what should be done, and each step is being provided here. And we have already in discussion with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs to endorse it, and they are open totally in buying this thing that yes, it is very much needed, and we don't have any advisory on what event is said as a large event or a small event and what needs to be done, how much of waste is being assessed and calculated. The entire thing has been given in the document. Next slide, please. These are several other policy initiatives that we have done for states of Uttarakhand, Maharashtra. I will not go into detail since there's a paucity of time. But this very much, this I would like, two things I would like to just mention here. I remember when we were revising manual, Majumdar sir ke sath, we had great discussion. Sanitary waste is one waste which is totally neglected and unaddressed. And what can we do? And many states and cities like Tamil Nadu, Kerala have rudimentary incinerators installed in the schools, but which is not abiding by any emission standards. So how do we look at it? So, going deep into it, we have developed an operational framework for sanitary waste, which is totally ignored. I mean, currently rule says wrap properly and put it in the dry waste, which is not the solution. So how do we manage it? And also the awareness is the, lacking. It's just not diapers or sanitary pads. Soiled cottons also come into it. Many other things are there which comes in a sanitary waste, but we always at household level, we mix it with dry waste or put it in mixed waste or organic waste. So this is the document that we have prepared, and we, ministry is keen to, launch it. Then we have prepared, with other states and cities, we have worked on improving the operational efficiency of composting, micro-composting centers. This is the new thing after a composting facility that has come up. And this, right, if you look, I don't know whether you're able to see Sponge Park. This is a new concept that has come up now, wherein the Chennai is the pioneer in developing it. And now we have kind of supporting them to develop a framework on it. Now, Sponge Park is, every park, if can convert it in a sponge park, which is the absorbing capacity of water, the surface runoff. Like, we waste so much of rainwater. So if parks are designed and layout is as such that they absorb the rainwater, stormwater drainage is reduced, and we don't see urban flooding now. We have urban flooding in Delhi, so even I was discussing with sir that that is very much need of the hour in today's time, and it is also a climate mitigation measures that we can adapt, and it's also improving the green and the blue infrastructure of the city, so making cities more resilient and adaptable to any kind of crisis that comes. Next slide, please. Then we are working as another pillar I was selling, capacity building. So these are the capacity building and snapshots that we are capacitating the stakeholders. But here I would like to mention, we are partnered and collaborated with National Institute of Disaster Management and to strengthen the capacities of the stakeholders, because when disaster occurs, it's a disaster management authority or the rescue team comes in. But then solid waste is the responsibility of the municipal authorities. So how the coordination and their interactions can be made better. We have prepared a training module for, in the disaster situations, what kind of waste comes up and how to deal with it. So that's very much needed in this time. Next slide, please. This is one of the digital interventions that we are, supporting Tamil Nadu and Manikonda and other few states, wherein digital solutions for circular economy, digitizing the entire waste value chain, wherein you have from generation to collection to processing, entire thing is in the one dashboard, which is accessible to the consumers as well as to the local authorities, and they can make the informed decision making. So that's a tool for them, and it's also have incorporate the monitoring and evaluation and as well as the behavioral change in the disposal by citizens. And it's basically, next slide please, it's a digital toolkit which is a web-based as well as the mobile-based. I will not go into the details, it's very much, as an app, you can raise your requests, you can functionality to address your grievances, and it could be responded by the authorities. Next slide, please. And this is for the administrator. They can see entire picture of the city at the one click of them, that which ward needs more attention, where is it the vulnerable hotspots and needs to be, facilitated with any kind of response recovery. Next slide, please. And this is the next pillar that communities of practice I was just mentioning. Like, this is a knowledge platform where experts are gaining and sharing their knowledge and learnings and failures and successes. So we have institutionalized this communities of practice on circular economy, where eminent experts like from the Indore, Surat, and German experts have come together, share their learnings, and it's an evolved and evolving, and as well as anybody can come if they have some problem, any city, and the peer-to-peer exchange is done. We are taking them to visit one or two states or even abroad, so that they can learn more and adapt to replicate to their own cities, and prepare a roadmap for the waste management. That's it. I hope I did not take much time. Thank you.